No more one night stands and get in the bag. So that model that try to take Drake's sperm, done this clip. No more of that. All right, today we're gonna talk about a law that I think should have been passed a long time ago. All right, I'm gonna let this guy Pawn explain it more.
All right, so those of you who are in Tennessee, guess what? House Bill 2689 is getting ready to pass. That is requiring paternity tests before you sign the birth certificate. Because, you know, when people do paternity tests, 1/3 of the time, they end up not being the father. And if they start testing everybody, that number can only go up, not down.
Mic drop.
So, I'm weak. Let me give a quick correction
He
to
ain't
that.
even speak it and he already dropped it.
I know, man. This man folding already. Damn. All right, so a quick correction to the a quick correction to the
a quick.
This is why you never help. A quick correction to the statistic. I swear, I can say this perfectly fine off camera. What is a quick correction to the statistic that
A quick.
the correction to the so the statistic he's bringing up is simply in the case where the person testing the other person for paternity fraud is suspicious of it. Like they have some reason behind it.
Yeah,
that's why the numbers are so high as to why it's coming out as paternity fraud. But in case of it being a general thing, the number's gonna be a lot lower, simply because obviously I promise you 33% of the population is not committing paternity fraud. There's no way it could be that high.
Insane.
By the way, feel more than free to fact check him on that later, but continue.
But yeah, it's in the case where it's general, not people with evidence saying this person is committing fraud. That's why it's so high. But let's continue.
Damn.
It's still too high though. Whatever it probably is.
33% chance of paternity
And again,
fraud?
It's too high.
And again, don't just take our word for it. Look it up yourself.
Yeah.
It's going to be dramatic. And right now they're starting to also add in things like, you know, maternity fraud is a crime, a punishable crime. So guys used to go to jail for not paying child support on a child that wasn't theirs because the state wants to get their money, because if there is no father to pay for the child support, somebody has to pay for it, so they push it on to the nearest person that could be a father figure. And they're actually starting to jail time the ladies for maternity fraud because it is such a rampant crime. And yes, it's a crime.
I'm gonna stop it there.
Now, before we continue, make no mistakes. I was trying to make this point before, but then I ended up stuttering worse than Brighton. Yeah, I'm glad that ain't on camera anymore. But basically, the point that I was saying is there is no bias here. We're not choosing sides. This is not men versus women. This is all about strictly following the law and making sure that proper justice goes where it needs to go. Because there's plenty of women, just like he said, that got men put in jail over the child support. And then there's plenty of men who actually abandon their responsibilities as a man after doing a deed and leaving someone with a child. So on both sides of this spectrum that we're specifically looking at, two wrongs been done. So this law that's coming out right now, from our knowledge, is an attempt at stopping it on both sides altogether. I'm just making sure everything is concrete, factual, and that you can actually prove it. Literally, physically, and through documentation.
Damn, I got no rebuttal this time. You spitting.
I'm just genuinely saying, like, realistically speaking, like, the law was made for this purpose. That's what it's coming off like to me. Because when it's all said and done, we don't need nobody spending time that they don't need to spend over something that they didn't do. Or rather, they was trying to do but wasn't allowed to do. Or
and money.
And money, exactly. And I was just about to get at that.
The amount of money lost is insane. That's why that people... How many times have you heard so many jokes and memes
Let's
about
clarify, it lost to individual men, but the government is raking in money.
Oh, of course. They always do.
They need a way every time, bro.
They
this
love
was
the
their way. Which is why this law is being fought so...
Yeah.
My fault for cutting you.
No, you good.
But that's exactly why this law is being fought so hard now, right?
Of course.
But, okay, there's more.
There is more.
Let's say what Pawn has to say.
I thought you were about to say prawn.
Honestly,
all right, don't scroll away because I learned about another interesting law that's changing. The other one is that they're going to be changing the child support laws so that if you can't collect child support unless it's from the biological father, and the biological father must have actually been a part of your life, meaning that a one-night stand cannot be held for child support. The person actually has...
And I'm going to leave that there. All right, that's crazy. So... no more one night stands and get in the bag. So that model that try to take Drake's sperm, Done this clip. No more of that nonsense.
Well, I mean,
in Tennessee.
Hold
in
on.
Tennessee.
I was just about to say, like, that's for Tennessee's law.
But the thing I was gonna say, now you're gonna see all the celebrities, if this does get passed, go to Tennessee.
Facts.
Because them girls gonna get pregnant and they gonna be like, nah, fam, you knew exactly what it was. You keep my kid. I ain't paying for that. That ain't mine.
Every rapper about to be wearing 3 condoms at the same time, going into one.
Stainless steel.
That's how you find the one as a famous person.
I want my copyright.
You're like, yo, let's go to Tennessee and have a date there. Stay there for a couple of months. Like, you the one. I can trust you. Actually, no, that's too long because then they might say you're in their life.
And before we continue, I just want to make it known right now, before we continue, that I am the co-founder of Stainless Steel Condoms. Alright, so if you need to get a pack, you talk to me.
You don't need it in Tennessee. I'm done. But alright, guess what? There is more though. There is more. What did he do?
What didn't he do, bro? Look at it.
He ain't bad. He does not.
Yep.
So what you fall for?
Yeah, 5. That's all I got.
You win. I lose. Alright, so there is more. Because like I said, in some scenarios, some people win. In other scenarios, some people lose, right? So now, listen to this. So, after you heard that, now there's an article going into a little bit more detail as to what this does. In order for the birth certificate to be officially validated,
Yes.
the signer must provide results of a DNA test. That's essentially the entirety of the bill that at least we're focused on. But now this is the contention part, right? Because like I said, it's still going through the circles to getting approved. That the Tennessee Department of Human Services, who sees the child support program, is fighting to kill the bill. Why? Because they make money off of it. There's government funding, $52 million in funding. That's provided to them.
These guys be pockets.
Wait, hold on. There's a law that's actually attempting to make something fair, but digging in our pockets to do it? Oh no, we can't have that.
Nah, man.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, we've had so many rampant cases of people not being the father, and then they've paid child support for mad years. They lost mad money, mad emotional investment into an individual that's not even there. It's horrifying. Like the mental damage that some of these dudes be going through from these situations.
And then look, and on top of that, if you really want to think about it too, I really don't see any woman complaining about this law either, because it actually puts the person
in the situation to make sure that this individual is authentically the parent of the child.
And to handle the responsibility that needs to be handled.
It also puts accountability on individuals who's moving mod.
Everybody who...
That's the point.
Listen, everybody who made the decision to get their pleasure from each other and a baby was the result, they're all being held accountable according to this law. Man, woman, alien, whatever.
Well, the problem is, right? Not necessarily the man, because if they can't even identify...
I'm about to get canceled for that alien line. I can already feel it. I can already feel it. Yep.
If you can't even identify who the father's going to get away scot-free. If you just keep throwing random names on the birth certificate, it's not going to work.
It's been good working with y'all, yo.
Has it? After that debate we just had, let me see. But, so, question. How do you think this will affect... Let's say this bill becomes nationwide.
Right.
How do you think this will affect the dating culture? How do you?
Right now, nobody about to be on my side, bro.
I mean, people will probably feel less worried about the one night stands if it happens, because they're like, well, I mean, she tried to lock me up. I ain't gonna get locked up.
Not for nothing. I could go to Tennessee, have like 41 night stands, come back to where I am now, and not worry about a thing. Because at the end of the day, when it's, why are you looking at me like that, bro? I'm just making an example. I'm not saying I'm gonna do it. I'm not saying I'm gonna do it, but I'm just making an example.
But that's the thing. Now, do you think you get one night stands, given that there's this greater risk involved with sleeping with men?
Bro, listen. Where there's more freedom, there's more likely to have the chaos, bro. So when it's all said and done, there's a likely chance that I'm not gonna be held accountable for this. It might encourage some people to do it more.
It's freedom on one side, so it's more freedom for men. But now that women will or possibly suffer from this in the long run.
I mean, for them moving,
they're not gonna wanna keep doing this.
Because overall, one night stands coincided that we was just here for the act, so a child was never really the plan.
Right,
notion.
especially if they're not trying to stay in your life.
You know, there's the whole my body, my choice aspect. So say you had a one night stand with an individual, but then you decide to have the child. Obviously, he didn't even expect any kid to come out of this. So you know, the whole thing is he ends up getting locked to you because you end up getting executive decision. And then, you know, boom, the kid pops up. He wants nothing to do with the kid, but then now he's got to pay child support. Just one night. one night of his life,
Wait a minute.
he's literally stuck
He
in a
gotta pay
financial
child
dilemma.
support
He's
for a
made
child
no
that.
decisions.
Hold on. He gotta pay child support for a child that you didn't choose to abort when it was your body, your choice, and you chose to keep it.
That's,
and he
that's
literally
the
was saying
argument.
he didn't want to be involved in it at all. Now he gets forced to be involved in it.
Yep. So, all right. So is that fair now, though?
I mean,
Because he did sleep with her.
right, but it's a one night stand. The intention of
But
a child
that also
never
goes
did.
back to the same argument of if the father wanted to keep it and the girl didn't, and she got rid of it, her body, her choice, right?
I mean,
Same
they
rule
gonna-
applies both ways around,
They
bro.
gonna have to argue that.
So if you chose to keep it and you tried to charge me after you chose to keep it when it was your body and your choice, I'm saying that more often than I ever thought I would in my life. But yeah.
Nah, but that honestly, that's the truth. Fine, damnly, I want something. All right. No, if it's your body, your choice, you're making the decision to hold this baby. In case of let's say an accident on a one night stand.
Yeah.
It's ultimately the woman's choice. It's always been really.
Oh, I wouldn't call
the
that an
woman's
accident.
choice.
There was
I mean,
a lot of intention
I mean,
that night.
personally, I think you're the.
I think there was a lot of
having a
intention
one night
that night.
stand raw.
Yeah,
there's a lot of things going on there that's wrong.
If you
but
chose to go in raw,
you got more issues than just a child.
nah, you
But-
just brave.
Yeah, that's what.
I don't even
That's
know
one
you.
way to call it. I'm not calling
I don't
it.
even know you. I don't know how people be doing that. I can understand
Right.
if you went in protected, but unprotected, like
I'm about to try that.
But okay. Here's my biggest question with all of this, right? I ignored that. Don't even try to. Anyways, my biggest question is why is this becoming a thing now all of a sudden? Because look, all right, and allow me to get red pill for 2 seconds, right?
they
Before
died.
you even get red pill, I already got your
I was
answer,
like,
bro.
the pill died.
Nah,
but
nah.
alright.
There's been so many occurrences in Tennessee. The court got tired of hearing people coming with the nonsense.
Not
so
even
they like,
in
yo,
Tennessee,
here's
just
what.
the world. They're just the first
I know.
ones putting it
No.
out there.
You're right with the world,
Or
but I'm
trying
just
to.
saying. Tennessee's court system probably said, "I'm so sick of people coming into my room, standing in front of me, and telling the same damn story."
Not the DHS, because they making bread off of
Oh,
us.
of course.
They love this, but that's the thing, you know.
Yeah, but listen, Tylenol, Motrin, Excedrin, and all these
my
other pill
God.
companies is making bread off these judges' headaches for hearing about these cases.
So they're gonna fight it. They're like, no, don't pass this law. All right.
They need that. They need
But-
that bread. Yeah.
Here's the thing, all right? So allow me to get red pill for 2 seconds, all right? Because we already
We murdered the last video, I recall, right? They
we,
died.
we heard.
Let it die.
Look, whether you believe this or not, there's been many people who believe that there's purposeful lobbying of feminism in politics because, and this has been proven statistically, women spend more. They have the most debt in the nation. They are 2 times as likely to respond to advertisements. And they do like 80% of the spending in a household. So.
Yeah, I can see that. It's just
So-
how, you know.
So it just makes sense, right? I'm not. Whether you believe this or not, would I sound like a conspiracy theorist? Would I sound like an a-hole misogynist? Whatever,
Bro,
But
look, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done,
You
if
just
you made your
mentioned in the
statement
stat.
and you have statistics and you actually have a fact behind
I
it,
just
make
know
your
how it
statement.
sounds, so I gotta clear myself.
I see the
Bro,
logic
it is
behind
what it is,
But
with how it sounds.
Whether
Just
or
say it.
not you believe me or not, it makes sense for the government to fund women having more money. Child support puts money in women's
Women's
hands.
pockets,
Sorry,
thus they
so it
spend
makes
more
sense
money
why.
as a consumer.
Exactly, it makes sense why this law has never been a thing.
But in truth, consumerism is pretty strongly geared towards obviously both parties, but in terms of with women and how they're advertised
Yeah,
everywhere, it
but
makes
at the
more
end of the
sense
day-
that women will be the ones.
But at the end of the
consuming
day,
more.
this law is made to stop it from happening at the expense of an
but
innocent
who's
person.
benefiting from it on
But
a,
who wasn't benefiting
on a
from it?
government scale?
From
the
the
people-
the government that he's referring to.
No, you're right. The
Because
government
they
scale.
lose-
But like I was
they lose
saying,
money.
but the thing that I was getting at is that the law is trying to stop the government from benefiting at the expense of men getting locked up for no reason if they didn't deserve it or any other
Locked
false.
up or stuck,
I would-
broke the whole life because the child support
support.
is not a game.
So where did the money come from? An
But
innocent
they
man's
don't
pocket?
care now.
Of course not. That's why the law's
So
here.
why did it?
well,
why is it now all of a sudden?
one
a thing?
representative is fighting to get it to happen.
Right.
We gotta look into his history because I'm pretty sure he fought child support. He got tired.
Yeah.
He looks like his dad who's struggling.
Antonio Robinson.
Antonio Parkinson.
Antonio.
All right, and not the disease. He's trying to be the cure.
He's trying to
for
get this
problems.
bill passed.
Yeah,
Or
word.
this
We're
law
not
passed,
talking about the
sorry.
disease. We're talking about the Antonio.
I'm not
No,
good with
Antonio.
names. You know this.
Antonio.
Oh, you're not gonna do it.
You know I'm. Oh my God! No, we're not doing this right now. Okay, so all right, so I kind of went down a rabbit hole thinking this, right? Mm-hmm. But I was like, the reason why they may be doing this is because men, as statistically, again, not being a red pill, we know men are getting out of the dating.
Red pill.
They're not starting families. They're not getting married. None of that stuff. So now I think they're trying to start incentivizing men to get into relationships to make these families.
Interesting.
Because I think in the long run, that benefits the government overall, especially with everybody saying that population isn't being replaced fast enough.
Oh yeah, the whole that the population is dialing back because
because nobody's really having
there's less relationships happening in terms of kids happening and stuff. I mean, you seen that divorce rate?
Yo, I'm about to go to Tennessee and help the population.
I don't need more.
Maybe they're like, all right, let's give men the alley-oop so they can make more families, and thus children overall will spend a lot more money and further increase or benefit the economy than just giving child support to. Because, I mean, if this is your child. There is no more games. There's no more waking up 15 years and realizing that kid isn't yours, but you've been supporting them for the last 15 years. Mm-hmm. And there's no more fear that if you have any bit of money, clout, or whatever, a woman's going to try to take advantage of you for having a one-night stand. So, that's my take. But it is completely opinionated and based on very loose fact. So please do not eviscerate me for it.
Look, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, men and women who's in this situation, y'all all grown, y'all know what y'all doing, for the most part, or at least in the moment, y'all thought y'all was, but regardless of the fact, right? The law was made to stop unjust treatment. That's my final stand. When it's all said and done, it ain't just towards men, it's all across the board. Men and women both are going to be held accountable, regardless of the decisions you made. Because people are still going to make the decision. Y'all hear me? The decision.
Yeah, and the mistake is me, but look at you.
Look at me roasting you, but look, you always over here on the worst statistic.
Yo, statistics is not that in the
easy.
Middle but look, I just said it again.
Little Italy, little did we know that we riddled some middlemen who didn't do diddle. Can you do that?
No, I can't.
I want to see you do that right now. I want to see you do that. No. In the middle of Little Italy, little did we know that we riddled some middlemen who didn't do this.
Now you just trying to embarrass me. Everybody gonna think I have a mental issue. Why you do this to me, bro?